Good morning. This is Jason Dean coming live at you again for another Film Fanatic show. It is Monday at about 8:30 or 8:21, I should say. Beautiful, beautiful day. We're having a break from all of the humidity. It seems like it's going to be a lot cooler. It was actually kind of slightly chilly this morning. Very surprising. It's usually the weather the last few weeks. It's been super hot, like pretty much from the start of the day to throughout the day and even into the night. I love the heat, but it's it's I guess a little bit more normal temperatures now. But hope everyone's doing good. I am going to go to the movies tonight. I'm kind of excited. I'm going to go see the new Nicolas Cage movie, Long Legs. I've heard a lot of mostly good things about the movie. I've heard a lot about it, and the last week I got to go see Maxine last night in the theater, or I should say last week in the theater, and that is the conclusion in the trilogy of films that was directed by Ty West, starring Mia Goth. And I had talked about my times of going to the theater, and it seems like, well, it's not a case of where it seems like it's been what's been going on. I haven't been going to the movies very often. I used to go to the movies every, well, at one point years ago, I almost went every weekend to a movie, or at least, you know, two or three movies a month, and I used to go to the movies really often. And now it's like really sporadic. It's very. There's months and months where I don't go, and it's, I guess, part of it could be maybe my tastes have gotten more specific, or I'm a little bit more picky, or that it's sometimes schedule wise it might be a little bit harder, but there are, there's like three really great theaters around here, right here in Mid Coast. The Colonial Theater in Belfast, which reopened after being closed for quite a while. They reopened. They have been kind of going back to their regular format of showing newer films. For a while, they didn't do that. And then you have the Strand, which is in Rockland, Maine, which is a really beautiful theater, and they show newer films, but then they show classic movies. I did see like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom there, and I did see the really great movie, which I'm going to do a review on. Evil Does Not Exist, which is this really quiet, meditative Japanese movie that came out. I saw that a couple months ago. Haven't done a show on that yet, but I do want to do one. But it's been a while, and then so you have that theater, and they tend to show more independent films, art house films, if you will. But they have a big variety of things, and then the other theater is Flagship Cinema, which is in Thomaston, which has the biggest kind of selection. And I've been going, when I do go to the movies, I tend to always go to Flagship just because they have, whenever they have movies there, they traditionally show, the movies have longer runs. So they're there for a couple of weeks. They have more, they have late shows, they have early shows, they have a lot of variety, times to choose from, and it's a lot easier. So I've been going to the movies. Whenever I do, it's usually there. And it's been, they really put a lot of work into that theater, and it's a lot nicer now. The sound is really good. The seats are really comfortable. It's got, the reclining seats, the seats, and they actually warm. You can warm the seats up. It's actually really great. And so you have a plethora of theaters, that are really high quality theaters right around here locally. But so I thought, okay, maybe that's it. Maybe I've just gotten, as I've gotten older, I've gotten more picky, and and I'm more, try to be a little bit more conscious of where I'm going to spend my money to see a movie, and if it's a movie I'm really, really excited about. And I just haven't had that fire. Certain movies I have, Maxine being one where I was super excited to see it, and that movie kicked so much ass, so fabulous. Can't recommend it enough. I put up a video review of it last week, so check it out if you get a chance. Just an incredible movie, an incredible conclusion to an amazing series of films, a franchise, pretty much the best around. And so, but I think the reason I don't go as much is I just feel like there just haven't been movies of that caliber that have been coming out. There hasn't been any movies that I am really excited about to that degree. That being said, there are movies coming out that I do want to see, and tonight one of them I do want to see is this new movie starring Nicolas Cage called Long Legs, and I'm gonna go see that tonight. I'm gonna go to the Late Show. I'm gonna go see it at Flagship because I have a rehearsal down in Rockland tonight after work, and it's the theater is like 5 minutes away, and we'll be getting done probably around in the later part, and there isn't a late show, so I was like, well, what the hell, why not? Long Legs, I don't know that much about. I do believe it is a Nicolas Cage movie. I'm a huge Nicolas Cage fan. He can't really do anything wrong as far as I'm concerned. I pretty much love everything that he is in. Even if the movie, for instance, isn't particularly great, he's just fabulous in it. I think the last 7 years or so of his career have been probably the best um, moments for him as an actor. My two favorite. I mean, he's got so many fabulous films to choose from, but more recently, and I kind of think they're my favorite movies of his of all time. Probably one of the two really just incredible movies. I think Wild at Heart, which was probably the first movie I saw with Nicolas Cage. Um, a David Lynch film, which is just an amazing movie. And then there's also a thriller that he did, Red Rock West, which is a really kind of underrated thriller that he did, an independent movie back many many years ago. Really really awesome. Of course, Raising Arizona, which was directed by the Coen brothers. I mean, so many great classic movies. Even Leaving Las Vegas, which is a really great film, which he won the Academy Award for. But I kind of feel like my two favorite films, and definitely my favorite film of his career, is Mandy. I just think, and that came out about seven years ago now. That movie is just such a fucking masterpiece in every way, shape and form. And then another movie that he did, which came out just a few years ago, is a movie called Pig, which is um, one of the most interesting and original movies I've ever seen, probably ever. And these are later films of his career. So I just think, uh, yeah, he's just incredible. So I'm really excited to see him, and I believe that this movie is essentially, I've heard it described as similar to Silence of the Lambs or Seven. It has very much it's very much centered on this mystery around a serial killer. That's all I know about it. I've heard mostly good things. I have heard a few bad things, but we'll see. But I feel like it would be cool to definitely see it on the big screen at least, even if it's not great. We'll see. But stay tuned. I will do a review for Long Legs shortly thereafter. There's two other movies that I'm really really excited about, and that is my most anticipated movie outside or shortly. Well, it's kind of tied with Maxine, or is the new Alien movie Romulus. That is directed by Fede Alvarez. Super. I'm a huge fan of Fede Alvarez. Don't Breathe, Evil Dead remake. I mean, he's just amazing. I am so excited to see that movie. I am a huge Alien fan. The first two are just masterpieces. The rest of them could just go away forever. but you know, I was sold on the trailers that I've seen have been, and I am a big fan of his work. So I'm really excited. I did see a couple of trailers of for Alien Romulus, the last month or two. But when I saw Maxine, they had an Alien trailer in the theater, and that was awesome. Like that was a whole new thing to see the trailer in the big screen. So I can't wait. That comes out in I think August 10th or something like that. So in a few weeks. Super excited for that. And then the other movie I'm really excited about is the new Deadpool movie, Wolverine and Deadpool, which is coming out. I believe that's coming out in August too. So there's three movies that I'm really looking forward to, especially Alien Romulus. So I'm gonna definitely go see them without a doubt. So, but tonight I'm gonna go see Long Legs, and I will do a follow up show and of course a review, good or bad. I tend to do reviews on movies I see in the theater, whether I like them or not. Typically, when I'm reviewing movies that I see at home, on Blu-ray or whatnot, I mainly try to do a show on a movie that I really really love. I don't really waste too much time trashing movies or uh, taking up space or time talking about movies I don't like. If I'm in the theater, if I go see it in the theater, I will do a review, whether it's thumbs up or thumbs down, just because I feel like, it's more of an experience, and I'm going to a place, I'm spending more money, I'm taking the time of, of out of my schedule, so I feel more obliged to kind of just talk about it regardless. But anyway, so today's show is on a movie which I have to say I have not seen in, well, probably since I was a little kid. This was a movie I remember seeing multiple times, like most kids or most people in my age group. This was a movie I had seen, again, mostly on cable at the time, on television, and then I believe I rented it a few times back in the days of VHS. And I had been actually looking for this movie for a while because I kept hearing the last couple of years. I kept hearing more and more about it, and I was like, you know what? That's a movie I really, really got to see again. Like that movie, I remember as a kid being just thinking that this movie was so magical and just so epic. And that is 1980s Flash Gordon. I I was trying to find this. Went to Opera House Video to see if they had it there for rent. They didn't have it, which I was really surprised. And then I had looked around for it, and but during that time, it kept popping up where I was seeing these random reviews of this movie, and I kept hearing about this movie. A lot of people talking about it on Facebook, and talking about, wow, like this movie is such a great film. And I was in Waterville on Saturday, and I went to Bull Moose Music, and I was blown away because for a while I stopped going there, and now they have this whole other section now. A lot of these like kind of low budget exploitation movies are kind of referred to now as like, well, the labels that put them out, like Severin, Arrow, Mondo Macabra, Blue Underground. A lot of those labels that put out a lot of these exploitation movies and low budget movies are referred to as like boutique labels. So, which I think is kind of funny, and it's like kind of hipsterish, but I understand it. But now, when I went to Bull Moose, now they actually have a whole like huge section where it's called the boutique section. And so now they have a massive, like, it's got to be four times the size as far as the selection when it comes to boutique movies, or AKA what I look to them or what I call them as just exploitation movies, they now have these massive sections for Blu-ray, new Blu-rays, and also 4K. I was blown away on how massive the selection was. Like I couldn't get through it all. It was so much. I had come from playing at gigs, and it was kind of late in the day, and I hadn't eaten, so I was like kind of dragging butt. I was a little bit tired. I was looking forward to getting home and eating and stuff. So I went in there not expecting that, and I was just like, holy shit! And it's this massive section now. So I'm gonna go there next time I go to buy some movies. I'm definitely gonna go back there and check that out because I was just like, wow, I it was a whole new world. And one of the first movies I saw that they had was Flash Gordon on Blu-ray, and I was just like, oh my god. So I picked it up and I watched this movie. What is today? Today's Monday. I watched it on Saturday, the same day that I bought it. I watched it that night, and I have to say this is one of the greatest movies ever made, and I have to say it might be the best goddamn movie ever made. I just fell in love with this movie so much. I'm a huge. My two favorite genres are science fiction, of course, and mainly horror. And I think that this movie is one of the most epic science fiction movies ever made. The costume designs, the colors, the action, everything just pops. Um, Max von Sydow. I mean, it's just so incredible the scope of this movie. And the other thing about this movie is it's like, which I, and again, I had not watched Flash Gordon in so long. Some things really stood out that I had forgotten. I forgot that Queen, the band, the iconic rock band Queen, did all of the music. I forgot how amazing the music is. The transfer of this movie on Blu-ray is jaw-dropping, like literally jaw-dropping. I was blown away by how um, this movie literally, I feel like, acts like an amusement ride or like you're at an amusement park. It's so thrilling and so over the top and so it's just such pure escapism. The other thing too is that the movie is like super ridiculous and so campy, and it's way more goofy and a lot more sillier or silly than I remember it being. It's so ridiculous, and it's got such great action sequences. Like the last act of the movie is just incredible. Um, and I forgot how incredibly campy and ridiculous this movie is. But again, I consider this movie to be it's a big budget, but it's a very low budget film at the same time, and it's so campy and ridiculous, and it's so to me it's a pure exploitation movie. Of course, Max von Sydow, the iconic actor who passed away a few years back, plays Ming the Merciless. I mean, just one of the greatest roles ever. The cast is just amazing. Sam J. Jones plays Flash Gordon. Melody Henderson is in this film. Brian Blessed, Amelia Milty, and Cham Topi. And it was directed by Mike Hodges. And it came out in 1980. And this movie is the epitome of 1980, of the 80s. Everything top to bottom. The production design is just so incredible. And again, this film came out, Christ, almost, well, closing in on almost 50 years. And, there was not even an inkling of computer graphics at that time. And it just looks, everything you see is like, is completely and utter and it's all utterly practical effects. Everything you see is pretty much built, handmade, in camera, and it's just so spectacular. And I just think that it just kind of reestablishes the idea of why I love. I'm such a huge practical effects guy, and even though this movie is like kind of dated, it's pretty ridiculous. It's wacky as all hell. It's totally bizarre at times. It's totally wacky, but it's so fun. Pure escapism. And the thing is that why it just reiterates this the point for me why I prefer practical effects. It just gives it, even though it's dated, it gives it this timeless energy, or it has this timeless energy to it. If and it feels like uh, it gives it this ageless quality to it, even though, and it's kind of odd saying that, but even though it's so dated, but it's like it's got all of those things that for certain certain groups of other films would make the film just not really hold up, but in this for this movie, all those things that would normally work against a movie as far as it being ageless and not really like a good bottle of wine just getting better with time, this all of those things really make this movie that much better. It has all of those key points where it makes the film, the experience, that much more thrilling. And this was put out by Arrow, and Arrow is one of the one of the labels that puts out all kinds of exploitation movies. I have quite a few Arrow movies. I bought a few other movies. I bought some Severin movies and one film, this action movie from the 80s, which I had never heard about, but looks really great. I do have a lot of Arrow film releases. I have a shit ton of Severin, Mono Macabra, and Blue Underground. Arrow is one of the more popular, but they really specialize in putting out. They definitely put out more on the, as far as in regards to low budget exploitation movies. They're probably, out of all of the boutique labels, they're probably a um, slightly more commercial. They tend to put out movies that are a little bit more commercial, in the genre to a degree, and then you have like labels like Blue Underground or especially Mono Macabra and Severin that will put out really obscure, really trashy movies that are not like for the mass audience. But Arrow does do that, but they tend to cover and release movies that are a little bit more that have a little bit more like a commercial appeal to it, like Flash Gordon. But this movie, oh god, it just might be the greatest movie ever made. I mean, I can't wait to watch it again. There are hours. This has so many hours of special features. It's just like it's insane. I haven't even started watching them, and I'm gonna watch that. Start watching the special features tonight and the next couple of nights. But just an amazing movie, and I forgot, how this movie is such an utter classic in every way possible. Can't say enough good things about this movie. It's a total masterpiece. So do yourself a favor and revisit this classic gem. So thanks again, and we will see you next time. Peace.